Sir Michael Caine is more than a celebrated actor. He is a living symbol of endurance, honesty, and quiet strength. From the confident swagger of Alfie to the steady moral presence of Alfred Pennyworth in the Dark Knight trilogy, his performances have always carried a deeper truth, one shaped by real life rather than Hollywood glamour. Over more than 7 decades, he never chased reinvention or illusion. Instead, he stayed rooted in authenticity, bringing lived experience into every role. Audiences felt that immediately, in his voice shaped by real streets rather than polish, in his posture that suggested experience rather than pretense, and in his refusal to be anything other than himself. His career spans generations, not because he followed trends, but because he remained grounded, proving that the most powerful legacy isn't built on flash, but on truth. Childhood in the shadow of war. Michael Caine was born Morris Joseph Micklewhite Jr. on March 14, 1933, into a working-class family in London during a time when stability was fragile and opportunity was scarce. His father worked long, punishing hours at the fish market, while his mother cleaned homes, her hands worn from chemicals and constant labor. The family lived in cramped conditions where privacy was unknown and comfort was rare, yet love existed quietly in the way his parents kept going, despite exhaustion. When World War II arrived, it tore through London with relentless force, turning childhood into a series of uncertain nights. Air raid sirens became routine, bomb damage reshaped streets overnight, and evacuation separated families. Michael learned early that safety could disappear without warning. These experiences didn't harden him into bitterness. Instead, they made him observant, inward-looking, and emotionally precise, qualities that later defined his acting in ways no formal training ever could. A young man forced to grow too soon. The years after the war brought little relief. Adulthood arrived early, not through choice but necessity. Michael's formal education ended because survival demanded income. As a teenager, he took any job available: clerical work, messenger duties, warehouse labor, each one reinforcing a simple truth: dreams often wait while life happens. Military service later took him away from London, exposing him to discipline and responsibility, and teaching him that life could change in an instant. When he returned, there was no celebration, no guidebook, only the expectation that he would keep going. These years stripped away romantic ideas of struggle and replaced them with something more durable: persistence without self-pity, resilience without entitlement, and patience without the expectation of reward. Finding purpose through performance. Acting didn't arrive as a childhood dream. It came as a practical refuge, a place where warmth, purpose, and possibility briefly aligned. Small theater groups and touring productions offered little money and even less certainty, but they offered direction and belonging. Rejection became routine, often blunt and humiliating, shaped by rigid ideas about class, accent, and appearance. His voice, once dismissed as too common, was inseparable from who he was. Rather than abandoning it, he carried it forward with quiet defiance. When he adopted the name Michael Caine, inspired by a cinema marquee, it wasn't reinvention, it was clarity. Progress came slowly, measured not in fame but in endurance, and by the time recognition arrived, it rested on years of unseen persistence, cold nights, and unwavering belief that his life could become something more: breakthrough and the weight of success. The mid-1960s marked a decisive turning point. Films like Zulu and Alfie introduced a new kind of leading man to British cinema, one who spoke like the streets he came from and carried lived experience in his eyes. Success arrived quickly, and with it came relentless work, public attention, and the pressure to stay relevant. Fame brought financial stability and creative opportunity, but also exhaustion and constant fear of decline. There were years when work blurred into routine, when praise felt fragile, and when critics suggested his best years were behind him. Michael Caine never pretended to be immune to doubt. He accepted it as part of the journey. His resurgence in films like Educating Rita wasn't just a professional comeback. It was personal proof that longevity isn't built on uninterrupted triumph, but on the willingness to begin again when confidence falters. Love, regret, and emotional growth. Behind the public success were deeply personal chapters shaped by love, separation, regret, and gradual growth. Early relationships unfolded amid financial strain and ambition, pulling in different directions. Like many young couples, they struggled under pressure. Over time, reflection replaced regret, and experience softened what youth had made sharp. Later in life, partnership became a foundation rather than a source of chaos. His marriage to Shakira Caine brought warmth, humor, and grounding to a life long defined by motion and work. Together, they built something lasting, not shaped by publicity or image, but by mutual respect and shared values. Family, once fractured by circumstance, gradually became a space of reconnection and healing. His life proves that growth doesn't end with youth. Emotional maturity is a lifelong process. Loss, memory, and perspective. Loss has been a quiet presence in Michael Caine's life, arriving not dramatically, but steadily, each time leaving its own mark. The passing of parents, close friends, and longtime collaborators reminded him that time is relentless and shared history is fragile. He never retreated from grief. Instead, he faced it honestly, acknowledging sorrow without allowing it to define him. Memory became both companion and teacher, guiding him toward gratitude rather than resentment. He learned that survival doesn't mean avoiding loss, it means learning to live alongside it with dignity. These experiences deepened his understanding of humanity and lent his later performances a subtle depth that resonated because they felt true. Aging with dignity and acceptance. As the years passed, Michael Caine approached aging not as tragedy, but as transition. Physical limitations replaced former ease, and daily routines adjusted, yet his identity remained intact. He didn't fight aging, he accepted it. Public appearances became fewer, not from withdrawal, but from choice. He embraced a quieter rhythm, valuing presence over productivity and reflection over recognition. In doing so, he offered a powerful counterpoint to a culture obsessed with youth and constant output, showing that worth does not diminish with time. The meaning of legacy. Michael Caine's legacy extends far beyond awards or box office numbers. His true impact lies in representation of working-class identity, resilience without bitterness, and success achieved without abandoning one's roots. Younger actors speak of him not only as an icon, but as a guide who understands the long view of a career. He showed that preparation is respect, kindness is strength, and longevity is earned through consistency rather than spectacle. His story reminds us that greatness is often quiet, and endurance is what leaves a lasting mark. A life still lived fully. Today, Michael Caine lives surrounded by the comforts he earned and the relationships he values most. His days are shaped by simple pleasures, conversation, reading, shared meals, and moments of reflection that once seemed impossible. He remains engaged with the world, thoughtful about its changes, and grateful for the long path he traveled. Though no longer defined by constant motion, he remains deeply alive to meaning and connection. His journey is a testament to the idea that survival itself is an achievement, and that a life shaped by hardship can still arrive at peace. In the end, his greatest role was never scripted. It was the lifelong act of becoming, enduring, and remaining human through it all.